Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Belle. I'd like to know about this man, who was my great-great-grandfather, who came out from Greater Manchester, and his name is Harry Macklin Shaw.
Harry came out to Australia following his brother William, who'd arrived in the colonies sometime earlier.
Oh, OK.
There was a shortage of labour up here, whereas the mills were struggling in England at that time. So there were many people making similar decisions.
Right.
I have got a photo here from the early days.
I've been needing these.
All right. Clairvaux was a head station. Would have been over 50,000 acres at this stage there, and they would have run about 20,000 sheep.
That's big, isn't it, really?
It is, and they're communities in themselves.
I can imagine it would be quite a tough life.
It would be a tough life. It's also interesting to note that there's still a pretty good social life that goes around here as well.
OK.
And probably a good time to show you this one here.
Oh, the Oddfellows Ball. This is from the Glen Innes Examiner, Tuesday, November the 23rd, 1880. The Oddfellows gave a grand ball in Ezzy's large hall in the evening, at which there were about 70 couple present. That's quite a lot of couples, isn't it?
It is, it is.
For a little ball.
Yeah.
The Glen Innes String Band presided and discoursed some very sweet music. We were greatly struck with the uniform manner in which everything in connection with this ball was carried out, which was certainly due to the untiring energies of Mr. H. Shaw, who officiated as MC. Dancing was kept up till daylight. He was an MC, a master of ceremonies.
If you're going to have a party, you've got to have it running till daylight.
Oh, you do, don't you, I suppose? That was brilliant. Wow. Yeah. So he was MCing this whole thing. So he's obviously some, sort of out there type performer in a way.
Yes.
Well, had a personality that could sustain that.
Oh,
for a community.
That shows through.
Shows through. When you consider someone as a labourer, you wouldn't think that there's no business like show business. But if you consider that he was master of ceremonies at local dances, they had to have some sort of showman in him. And he must have had a little bit of, chutzpah and verve, and that's what I love.
Craig wants to find out more about his extrovert great-great-grandfather, Harry. He's come to Glen Innes's History House to meet archivist Eve Chappell.
Craig, Eve Chappell.
Hi, lovely to meet you. Now, Eve, I was just wondering about my great-great-grandfather, Harry Macklin Shaw, and whether or not you had any other information on him at all.
We do have. You have a look at that article there, Good Templary at Vegetable Creek.
The annual anniversary of the Nil Desperandum Lodge. OK. The singing and recitations were not up to expectations owing to some imperfections in the stage fittings. Everyone's a critic, darling. Everyone's a critic. Harry Shaw's step dancing and recitation were well rendered. So he was dancing a bit.
Yes.
And acting a bit.
And reciting.
Yeah, and reciting stuff. Dancing was indulged in until the early hours of the morning. He has a reputation for that because I read a little bit where, he was emceeing a ball and had it closed at sunrise,
You can see he's one of these people who's right in with his community.
Yes.
And he's going to enjoy himself.
How fantastic.
There's more. This is 1877.
A very acceptable performance was given to this club on Wednesday evening last at the Royal Assembly Rooms. These clever performers sang a number of songs in a creditable manner. The ex-champion clog dancer of New South Wales. No, Mr. H. Shaw, an ex-champion clog dancer.
You've got somebody famous in your family.
That's hilarious! Clog dancing. That is brilliant.
Clog dancing was a hugely popular pastime in late 19th century Australia. A forerunner of modern tap dancing, performers wore wooden-soled shoes and tapped out steps in complex rhythms.
I never really considered anyone in my family to be part of theatre at all. So this is finally ringing some bells, darling. We're loving that.